You could be a someone. All you had to do was work these last few years. Why must reality slap you in the face so brutally for you to wake up? You only learn lessons the hardest possible way. I'm trying to convince you to do something you should already want to fucking do, which is win. And I can't seem to get you to take action and move and work. This outcome was certain. You knew it. I knew it. And you still just laid in bed at night after an average day of meager efforts. You went to bed broke, and you're a nobody because every single time God gives you a chance, you ignore it. Even worse, when you are given guaranteed wins, you do nothing. When winners like me, we attack with absolute vigor. When the win isn't even guaranteed, you should look in the mirror and feel a deep sense of shame. You should think of all those days you have wasted. The time's already gone. The time's been spent. You can't even tell me what you did with it. You didn't work. You didn't get rich. Cool. What did you do the last 2 years? And you know what? The number one measure of a winner is self-reflection. When you're a winner, you analyze your performance in all things. The second best time to get started is now. I will say to you, you've missed a lot of chances, but there is still a chance left. You could be a someone. All you had to do was work these last few years. You could be a millionaire. You could retire. You could save your mother from being coarsened in the labor market. You could prolong the life of your loved ones with medical care. You could literally keep your parents alive longer, and you still didn't try. You still couldn't be motivated. Extra years of consciousness for the people who birthed you is somehow not as important. And you wonder why I end up in a position where I think, do poor people even ever deserve to win? The fact that I believe each and every one of you is exactly where you deserve to be in life. So if you're not a millionaire and you're not happy with your life, guess what? You are where you deserve to be. And the reason I'm going to say that is as follows. It's all, I had a bad luck this, or I tried this, or I can't pull off that, blah, 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 blah. It's impossible to exist somewhere where you're not comfortable. If I were to say, lay on these red hot stones, and you tried to do it, you'd get up and move because it hurts, it's not comfortable. You have to get out of that position. Yet, if you look at your lives, your life is in a shit position, but you don't move, you don't do anything about it. So if it was really, truly uncomfortable to you, like those red hot stones were, you'd change something. But the fact you refuse to change something shows that you're pretty comfortable where you are. I needed money. And I used to sit there and just literally my hands in my head and people were like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I need money. I want money today. Oh, well, yeah, I really want to be a millionaire. And then just go to sleep. Oh, get my pillow, I'm tired. Fuck. You are not uncomfortable in your position. I talk to people when their lives are all fucked up. And they're like, well, my life's all fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Because you're happy for your life to be fucked up. Even if you're not happy, even if you're uncomfortable, you're not uncomfortable enough to change it. If you were genuinely unhappy about your position, you would not be coming to me for motivation. If you were genuinely pissed off about your situation, you would not need me to motivate you. You would motivate your fucking self, and you would do something to change it yourself. But you don't, which says a lot. So this whole motivational shit is all garbage. All you fuckers are exactly where you belong. I'm where I belong, the top of the mountain, because I refuse to stay anywhere else. They're beyond saving because they're the worst thing you can possibly be, which is a quitter. Being a quitter is the worst thing you can possibly be. God himself can't make a quitter important, because the only reason the place you're trying to get to has value is because it was difficult to reach. If everybody could reach it, there'd be no value. Value is linked to scarcity. The whole point gold is valuable is because it's not everywhere. If it was everywhere, it wouldn't have any value. The reason the place you're trying to reach is valuable is because people can't get there. So if you're the kind of person who quits, you're never going to get there. Quitters will never make it. And there's a huge subsect of the populace who are basically simply quitters. I've never in my life seen anyone who's determined to get something not get it. I've never seen somebody who is determined in their heart to get something not get it. The universe and God is so giving and providing. People think it's difficult out here. I disagree. I've never seen someone wake up and say, nah, this is all I care about. This is all I want. Not get it. Everyone who thought that way in fighting was a world champion. Everyone who thought that way about money was rich. I've never seen anyone fail. Bro, I've seen people with no credit score and no job determined to get an R8 manage to get one on finance somehow. I've seen it. If it's all you want, you're going to get it.
You're going to find a way to
You're going to find a way.
Yeah.
People go, oh, I want this. If you want it, you have it. People often say, if you try your best, it's okay to fail. But what they don't understand, the true secret to the universe is that if you try your best, you never fail.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. And most people aren't trying. They aren't trying. They don't know what trying is. In fact, that's probably one of the things I hear the most. I used to hear the most because I don't talk to people anymore because they all annoy me. I'm trying. No, you're not. You don't know what trying is. No, you are not trying. I know you're not trying. People are genuinely not out here giving their absolute best, because if you were, you'd have everything you've ever desired. You'd have anything you've ever wanted and asked for. Instead, what people do is they cope and convince themselves they're trying. Oh, I tried, but I need a work-life balance, and it's hard, and I was trying. All garbage, all code. And like I said earlier, life is war. If you're a man and you don't view the world as war, I can't imagine how you view the world. For me, my whole life, it's all problems. It's stress. Leave me alone. I'm not jumping out of any planes. I'm not climbing any rocks. I'm not swimming with sharks. That's all for people who don't have enough stress in their life. If you wake up and decide you want to swim with sharks, you are lacking stress, which means you are not trying very hard. Because if you were trying your absolute best and you were important, the last thing you would want to do is go swimming with sharks. You must be out your mind. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not enough people look back on what they did and identify where they made a mistake. And some people will do it when they lose. But the true professionals do it when they win. When my dad was playing a chess game, if he won the game, he would still analyze the game and see if he could have lost, where it could have gone wrong, how he could have won faster, what mistakes he did make, what he did well, what he did wrong, win or lose. So many people will sit in a scenario where everything went wrong and go, in fact, correction, not so many people. I would say 75% of people will not ever self-analyze the situation they're in. They'll blame everyone else. But when I was in jail, I was like, how did I get here? What did I do? What did I say? Me. I'm taking absolute self-accountability for everything. I'm not blaming anything else, because if I blame everything else, I have no control. If I blame myself, then I can influence it. I have control over it. It's all your fault, because that's the only thing that gives you control and power. The other 10%, we said 75, that's 85, no, it has to be much higher. We'll look at a situation in which they lose, and they might self-analyze, and they might try and learn from the loss, and they'll try and find the feedback involved in the loss to make sure they don't lose again, which is obviously better than not analyzing at all.
At all, yeah.
And the top 5%, the absolute highest echelon, are people who are going to analyze every decision they've ever made, win or lose. I analyze my wins as well. Have you even done the feedback on your own goal you made 30 short days ago to realize that you're nowhere near it and you're not going to make it and you're a loser? No. Oh, I got the rest of the year, and then wonder why they fail. You should have a daily target. The kings have always been fine, and we always will. But if you're the common man, I think that the good days are over, and I think it's going to get harder and harder. You should feel deep fear and panic, and understand that you have a certain amount of time to get into the higher bracket of the social class before these hard times come. I think most normal people understand. If you were to ask them, how's the economy, they'd say, well, it's impossible. I can't pay for my bills. I can't pay to eat. I can't afford a house. I can barely afford my mortgage. I'm never going to get rich this way. They understand all of this, but they're not panicking. Why are you not panicking? And I think there's only three reasons you can't get rich in the world today, which is either you're stupid, you're lazy, or you're arrogant. And I find the most common one is lazy and arrogant. It's not stupid. There's nobody at home who is too stupid to become rich. You're too lazy to learn how to do it yourself.
And you're too arrogant to listen.
And you're too arrogant to listen. It's not about being stupid. You're lazy or arrogant. It's one of the two. Those are the two most common factors of people. So when I meet people who have truly failed, and they pretend to me that they didn't want to fail, I know they're one of the three. And it's usually arrogant. Because when I sit and say to them, you could have got out, they don't say, you're right, I could have got out, I didn't try. That shows humility. They don't do that. They say, no, because it's excuse, someone else's fault, no self-accountability. Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about anyway. Arrogance.
Sounds like feminine mindset to me.
Well, yeah, exactly, and then they're going to lose.
There's very few things in this life we actually have any control over. I knew I would be the best. I genuinely knew I would be the best. You have to understand that this world, everyone constantly tells you, do not be arrogant, do not have an ego. But people will constantly tell you to not talk in a way which is full of conviction. People do not like you to be arrogant and have an ego. This is the worst thing ever. Let me tell you a fact, the number one facet of a G mindset. Your life is never going to be worse if you walk through the world believing you are the fucking man. You wake up and look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking man. And you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not going to take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's going to happen quickly. But you have to believe you can achieve anything. You need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off. Because if it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and I had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it. And when they're not annoyed by it, they're not driven to beat it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, it tells you not to be angry. It's two things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man. You're a full-grown man. It's perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. This is the reason I stopped fighting now. People go, why do you stop fighting? That's because I fought, and I went through hell to get everything I now have. I had nothing when I fought. I had nothing. And I wanted the life I now have. Now I wake up in one of my 3 mansions with one of my 7 supercars and one of my 15 women. What do I need to fight for? Now, people have different motivations for different things. There's some fighters out there who fight for other reasons, But my motivation was I was pissed off at the world. And now I'm not as angry as I used to be, so I don't believe I'm as good a fighter as I used to be. I'll still whoop some ass, but I'm not as good as I used to be. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you. They care about you, yeah, sure. There may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never going to have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true.
So I'm rich not because of money. I'm rich because I've been through a whole bunch of shit. Like, I don't see anyone else on the planet richer than me because they're either too old or their life's been too easy. Like, I've had a very, very unique life, very, very eclectic life. I was born with the best possible start a man can have, which is good parents and no money. I've made all of my money completely myself the hard way. And I state that without arrogance. I don't mean to be arrogant, but I am a realist. And as a realist, it would be absolutely unprofessional for me to sit here and pretend I'm not an exceptional human being. Because I am. And a lot of those things I did myself. And some of them were God-given. But the ones that weren't God-given was because I put myself through hell. I put myself through hell because I decided to throw comfort away. For 10 years of my life, I was never comfortable. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You were never evolved to be comfortable. You're supposed to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And if you make yourself uncomfortable constructively, it's very easy to be anything you want. You know what you have to do.
You're right.
If you had to become the most dangerous, intelligent, respectable man on the planet, you know you're supposed to go to the gym. You know you're supposed to train, learn how to fight. You know all these things. You don't do them. That's your decision. It's your prerogative. I didn't make that choice. I made the choice to do it all. I decided all of that. And every single man watching this can do the exact same thing. And me as a man, when I put myself through hell, when I have had such exacting, such stringent standards for myself, why would I then have less exacting, stringent standards on the people I meet? I believe that, the most important thing you can do as a man is to gain control of your mind. Once you have control of your mind, life is so ridiculously easy. It's so ridiculously easy. It's so easy to be in. People say to me, Tate, you're in good shape, but all you do is drink vodka and travel the world. You're never even home. You never even have a gym. How do you do it? It's ridiculously easy if you control your mind. If I decide to do 1,000 push-ups, I'll do them. Maybe I have to do them one at a time. Maybe I'll get tired. Maybe I need a break. I'm going to do 1,000 because I said I'm going to do 1,000. It's not fucking hard. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Once you control your mind, it's easy, right? You miss that girl, you're upset, you miss her with all your heart, da-da-da. But once you realize she's gone, if you control your mind, she's gone now. She's gone now, gonna miss her. That's a shame. Off to the gym. You either control your mind or you don't. And all of these things stem from the same problem. It's something you can do. It's something that is learned. It's something that is taught. But it's something that I needed to survive. So for me, it's easy, right? It's all I've ever known. Conquest is all life's ever been for men. This is what men have an innate desire to conquest, to conquer. Only thing that's going to make you intrinsically happy is conquest. Nothing else. If you're depressed, it's because you don't conquer shit. Conquer something. Get up and do it. It doesn't have to be a negative at all. You can do it in a very, very positive way. You can have a positive impact on the world. I like to think that my impact on the world has been positive. I've conquered the whole fucking internet, and I've done it in a positive way. I'm helping the world. Goals are something you put on the wall to motivate yourself, right?
Right.
Goals are motivating. So if you want to buy a car, you put the car on the wall and it motivates you to go to work to get the car. So that's a goal. Goals are for motivation. I don't work on motivation. I work on discipline. So I don't have a set goal. I just get up and do what I know I'm supposed to do. I don't work to try and afford that car. I work because I'm supposed to work. And then I can already afford that car and another one and another one and a boat and a plane and a house and another house and a land. And then I just work. I do my work. That is my duty as a man, is my duty to God. I train in the gym, it is my duty to God. I do my duties to God. I fulfill my duty. I'm an old school gentleman of honor and respect. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't have any particular set goals. Anything I decide to do or want to do, I can do instantly. And if I can't do it instantly, I can do it pretty fucking quickly. I don't need goals in that old traditional sense. I do what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
It's not a matter of how I feel or how I'm motivated. If I was depressed, it's impossible, but if I was depressed, my life would be, and the day-to-day activities would be exactly the same as if I was ecstatically happy. You wouldn't be able to see a difference. I'd be up at the same time. I'd be in the gym the same. I'd be doing the same shit. Those are my duties my duties to God. How I feel has nothing to do with it. Completely unrelated. How I feel is unrelated to my duties to God. They don't change based on how I feel. They're the same. And they will be completed because I refuse to fail God or my bloodline. There are duties that men must fulfill, whether to God or to your bloodline. But this is a genuine honesty. I'll say this now. It's the denial that's going to hold you back the most. The people who go, yes, I'm wasting my potential. Those are the ones who have potential. The ones who stand up and go, I am wasting my potential. I could be anything and I am not that yet. They have a chance. The men who go, well, no, actually, I'm fine. They're fucked. Damn. But if you sit there and go, you know what? Yeah, I am wasting my potential. Yes, I can be more than I am. Even if I'm already great, I can be better. As good as I am, I still push myself to the limit every single fucking day. I have every single thing a man could possibly want. I'm still pushing myself. This is your prerogative as a man. But you need to be instilled with a sense of duty. Duty to your bloodline. You must want it. You need to want it deep inside your soul. I can't die as anything less than emperor. It's my destiny.
You're only gonna get rich if you talk to rich people about money. You need to be surrounded by rich people. You need to have rich friends. You need to be having money conversations. You need to be sitting down, dedicating 2 hours of your life, getting a coffee, sitting there and talking about money. What money is, where it comes from, how to make it, what country to send it to. You need money conversations. You need to be talking with motivated individuals who understand how to make money. Now I tell you this, and you're sitting there going, yeah, okay, I understand. And the problem all of you have is you don't know anybody rich, besides me. Why don't you have rich friends? Well, the truth is this, the two are linked. We're talking about rich friends and energy. Rich people don't like talking to poor people. Rich people like talking to rich people. Because when rich people talk, there's an energy exchange. Both can learn things. Remember what I was talking about how rich people sit around and have money conversations. Talk about how I'm making this money this way, you're making money that way, maybe we can come together and make some money together this way, da 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 da. Rich people can conversate, and there's an energy exchange, and you can have money conversations and more money can be made. When rich people talk to rich people, they make more money. When rich people talk to poor people, what do they get? Please tell me things. And you're just giving energy away, and they don't give you anything back. That's why it's so hard. The only reason I could talk to rich people in the fight was because they respected me as a man, because I just kicked the fuck out of somebody. So they'd respect me enough to talk to me, because I'd shown them ferocity and the heart of a lion. So they're like, okay, let me talk to this man. So this is a very important point. You're not gonna find rich friends easily as a broke boy. You need a network where you can emulate what I did. You can emulate what I did. So what I did was, I proved myself in the ring. And after proving myself, I got the respect of people who had fiscal superiority. And then I learned everything I needed to know to become a multi-millionaire.
I'm winning the game. I'm conquering. And that's what I think truly is going to give you purpose in life. It's just conquest. Men have always been this way. That's why war was even happening in the first place. The Mongols raided Vienna. How long does it take to ride from Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, on a horse to Vienna, Austria, across all of Siberia? And they were still mad enough and bored enough to go, nah, we need that city over there. That's the masculine essence, and it's been numbed down inside of people. Do you think they were ever considering fun at any point during this conquest? Because I don't think they were. I think that the entire world was built by this God-given drive to conquer. And to conquer doesn't always mean dominate others. You can conquer the sky by building a skyscraper. You can conquer by building roads. You can conquer by construction, not only by destruction. You conquer by turning up to a new territory and having a beautiful family and creating children. Creating a circle is ultra important. And it's not just important financially, it's also important for your entire life and your mindset as a whole. Because it's amazing, especially amongst men, we never want to be the poorest person in the room. We never want to be the weakest person in the room. You never want to be, so if you're with a group of killers, you have now this massive expectation. It's almost like societal pressure and a positive force. If I go to my friends, I can't be the weakling. If everyone does X amount of push-ups, I have to do them. My team, it's not just about how we make money. It's also an entire mindset. I don't want to be the only scared one in the group. If me and my 6 closest friends are walking down the street and a couple guys came up to us with machetes, I know they wouldn't be afraid. So now I'm not afraid. Now no one's afraid. Now you're fucked. It's like a gang, right? You have to have that mentality. So it's not just even about money. It's about your entire life you create. If you're a person, if you're a man and you're out here and you go, you know what? Who do I want to be? I want to be strong and rich and brave and respected. Then I need friends who are strong and rich and brave and respected. That's what you need to do. If you're going to say, oh, I want to be these things, but I hang around with this guy because we play FIFA together, then that is your decision. Stay a loser. I have no sympathy for losers. I want to make this another thing clear that ends up on TikTok and everyone cries their eyes out. I don't give a solitary if you want to stay at the bottom of the societal totem pole. If I'm going to ignore how I feel day after day so I can perform, regardless of whether I'm sad, happy, pissed off, tired, if I'm going to get up and work anyway when I'm tired, how do you expect me to feel sorry for you because you didn't work when you were tired? If I don't care about my own emotions, I certainly don't give a solitary shit about yours. If you want to stay a loser, stay one. Good, it's fine. Stay a loser. I have no sympathy for you. I don't care. I didn't say depression isn't real. I said feeling depressed is real. But the idea that depression is going to strike you in your mind and there's nothing you can do about it, I think that is promoting helplessness amongst depressed people, and that's the reason they kill themselves. I don't think that making people helpless in an unfortunate situation is the great thing to do. You have to give people hope. And I explained that when you believe in something, you give it power. So I tried to say that when I felt at my lowest and I achieved the most I've ever achieved in my life, the reason I was capable of doing that is because I didn't believe in the paradigm of being a depressed person. I just believe that this is how I currently feel, and fuck it, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my life to be better. And I gave a very simple example, an analogy. I said, if you take 2 people, one believes in ghosts and one doesn't, you put them both in haunted houses, and in the middle of the night, there's a bang. The person who believes in ghosts is now terrified. There's a ghost, they're calling an exorcist, they're panicking in the room, they're hiding. The person who doesn't believe in ghosts goes wind and goes back to sleep. It's the same noise, it's the same scenario, but it's the belief in their mind that terror and ruins their life. It's the belief in their mind that turns against them. And I've said this many times. You can tell me depression's, you can give me with every scientific proof in the world, depression, I refuse to believe in things that take my power away from me. I'm only going to construct a mental model that allows me to be as powerful as possible. If believing in the idea of depression is going to take my own power away, then I won't believe in it. I don't want to believe in things that make me weak. I believe in things that make me strong. And someone goes, well, you're wrong. Listen, let's assume you're correct and that makes me wrong. Let's say that you're right and you're depressed. Why would I want to adopt the thinking of a man who is sad? Why would I want to think like you? Wouldn't it better to be wrong and be happy and have a sports car and a yacht and a private jet? You want to talk about right? Look at your life. Don't talk about right and wrong. Let's talk about success and results. I don't believe in things that take power from me. I never have. So when people email me and they start saying, I'm depressed. And what's funny is this, I talk to them and they desperately defend the idea of depression. I'm like, my friend, you just told me you're too depressed to be successful and depression has destroyed your life and you lost your girl. I'm telling you that enemy, the enemy in your life isn't real. And you're now sending me 10 emails a week trying to convince me that your enemy is a real thing. Why are you sticking up for your enemy? This person, whatever it is, this idea destroyed you and you're putting your energy into defending it. You should be on my team. Whose team are you on here? You want to sit here and convince me? I'm never going to believe you. I'm never going to adopt your thinking because your life is not successful enough for me to emulate. So why don't you try to adopt my way of thinking? Stop defending this. And they're defending it because it's a cure-all excuse. Depression or sadness is a cure-all excuse for men to use for failure. I have failed. This is why when they say I don't believe in men's mental health, or the man who's depressed can't compete with the man who's not depressed. This quote. I say, listen, you get to roll out, be fat, be out of shape, be broke, be unimportant with no girlfriend. And instead of the world thinking you're a loser, you get to say, I'm not a loser, I'm depressed. It's a shield. Yeah. And I say, that's why you don't want to lose your shield. Because now you have accountability, now you have performance. It's a cop-out. Fuck it off. We're not about that. We're talking about success here. Get rid of your excuses, stop defending the thing that's ruined your life, and get to fucking work. And every time anyone has ever listened to me in history, ever, every single one of them's transformed their lives and messaged me positive messages afterwards. Every single fucking time. That's why I'm antidepressant. Because that pill ain't gonna fix you the way becoming the man you wish you were is gonna fix you. It's crazy. And then they're gonna take one little soundbite. Tate doesn't care about mental health. He thinks depressed people is some bullshit. And they're gonna apply it to me. I really do believe, and I state this almost with a degree of achievement, I'm the most misunderstood man on the planet. I really believe I am. It's crazy the level. There are people out there who truly believe I am evil, and I'm nothing close to it. I'm one of the most compassionate people you could possibly meet. I think that when you believe in things, you give them power. It's amazing how you can self-hypnotize. I'm not saying feeling depressed is not real. Everyone feels depressed. I'm saying the idea of depression as something you cannot control is a dangerous idea and paradigm. If you're depressed and sad, you only care about yourself. You don't care about your community or your family. You don't care about the world. You do not stand up for anything. You're depressed because your reality is depressing. The truth is, if I lived the reality that most of these depressed people live, I'd be depressed. Your reality is depressing. You wake up, your wife doesn't love you, your kids don't respect you, there's no milk in the fridge, and you're almost dead. Of course you're depressed. You're running out of time. The depression is something deep in your heart and soul telling you that you need to change things. That is the unlimited trauma, the power I was talking about earlier that you can take all of that depression and convert it into unlimited energy to fix your life. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted. Take the depression and turn it into motivation. And all of a sudden, you'll see how fantastic your life is. Having no hope will prevent you from fighting back. If you do not believe in depression, like I do not believe in depression, no matter what bad things happen to me and how bad and depressed I feel, I know I can fix it. That will make me fight harder than if I believe I cannot fix it. I am better at fighting the idea of being depressed. If I am better at making myself feel happier, if I am better at regulating my emotions by not believing in an idea, then I'll continue to stay wrong. I do not believe in things that take power away from me. I believe in things that make me more powerful. I will not sit here and start believing in ideas that are going to reduce my competence. I don't believe in it because I am more competitive in this realm. And for the people who believe, if you and I go through the same terrible experiences, the same level of heartbreak and trauma, I guarantee your belief will destroy you when mine won't. And why would you believe in an idea that is against you? I talk about this all the time. People say I've had a traumatic life. I say, well, then you're very, very fortunate. You had a traumatic life. Now, you may have misused that trauma. You may have misplaced it. But every single man of value went through trauma and they went through pain. It's going to be painful to get strong, painful to get rich, painful to become important. It's going to be painful to become good with women. Your heart's going to get broken a bunch of times. You have to be prepared for the pain. If you're not ready for pain, you're never going to be anything that matters. So Justin just absolutely and utterly nailed it. My kickboxing coach used to say to me, I used to come in the gym, say, what do you hate the most? And I say, I hate running. He said, okay, you're going running. I say, why? He goes, because whatever you hate is what you need. Whatever you hate is what you need. I wanted to spar, bag work, pads, no problem. Running, I didn't want to run, but that's what you need. And that's what life's about. You're not going to be able to go through life avoiding pain and also becoming a man of quality. You're going to have to be that guy who's been through so much shit that he can wake up and go, this ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing compared to back then. This ain't nothing compared to that time. You know, and if you're not going to be that guy, then you're going to always suffer the consequences of not being that guy. There's pain to become important, and there's pain in not being important. So you have to make a choice. So I think Justin absolutely nailed it. I think his answer is even better than mine could be. You need to find something you're afraid of, find something that could hurt you, and go do it. And that's one of the great things about being young, right? You're basically superhuman. Stop talking, start listening, get out there, get hurt, get the fuck back up. And there's a degree. There's also something I want you to comment on from the football perspective, but there is a degree of wisdom that comes from physicality. I learned a whole bunch of shit about the world from just having my ass kicked. I would say the number one thing that will tell me how successful a person will be, especially as a man, is their stress tolerance.
Yes.
You're not going to have a big life without big problems. You're not going to be important without 4 girlfriends, 22 cars, 3 businesses. Fuck, your phone ain't going to stop. It's going to be stressful. Banks are going to get frozen. Money's going to go missing. You're not going to have a big life that's a calm ocean. You need to learn to just surf the waves and laugh, because most people just collapse under the pressure. Stress tolerance is a massive indicator of how successful you're going to be. And no matter what happens in my life now, I can sit there and go, well, at least I'm not about to get in the cage and deal with that guy, you know? And you need to have, at least I can eat. We've all been through stages where we can't eat. So stress tolerance is something that can be learned. It's something that you can, like you said, when you're young, it's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
When you're young, go out there and get stressed, get upset, have those sleepless nights. You should, at 17, 18, you should be panicking, right? And that's going to give you a stress tolerance level that allows you to grow into an adult, which can handle a big life. You're not going to have a big life. You're not going to be here like all 4 of us are, living the life like we're living, rolling around Europe in supercars with unlimited finance, and have that big life and think that you're not going to have any kind of stress or problems to get there and maintain it. That's not real. You need to be out competing all the other people on the planet who are hyper competitive. And if you think you have 8 hours to sit there and just read a book, you are wasting your time. You are too slow, and you are going to lose against people like me, because we're just too quick, too fast. Our networks are too various and large, and we make decisions too quickly, and we absorb information too quickly, and you're just behind.
Listen to me. If you want to win at life, if you want to dominate, to succeed, to be the man who walks into a room and commands respect without even speaking, you need to understand something very simple. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your most dangerous enemy. It's either the engine that drives you forward at full speed or the anchor that drags you down into the depths of mediocrity. And let me tell you something most people don't want to admit. If your life sucks, if you're broke, if you're weak, if you're lost, it is your fault. I don't care what excuses you have. Your parents were poor, so what? You didn't have the right education, who cares? The world didn't give you a fair shot, boo-hoo. The truth is, you are where you are because of how you think. And the day you realize that is the day you take back control. The weak-minded blame the world, the strong-minded take responsibility. And the moment you stop being a victim is the moment you start being a winner. You have a choice every single second of every single day to program your mind for strength, success, and domination, or to allow it to rot in negativity and weakness. And let me tell you something. Most people choose weakness because it's easy. It's easy to complain. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to stay in bed all day feeling sorry for yourself. But do you know what's not easy? Winning. And that's why most people never do. If you want to master your mind, you need to understand one thing. Discipline is everything. People talk about motivation. Motivation is a joke. Motivation is a fleeting feeling that comes and goes like the wind. But discipline is the foundation of kings. When you master discipline, you don't need motivation. You just do what needs to be done no matter how you feel. You wake up, you grind, you push, you conquer, because that's who you are. Let me tell you something. Life is war. Every single day is a battle. And the enemy? It's not your boss. It's not society. It's not your parents or your haters. The enemy is you. That weak version of you that wants to quit, that wants to complain, that wants to stay comfortable and avoid the struggle. And if you let that version of you win, you will never be successful. You will never reach the top, because the world belongs to the strong. Look at history. Look at the men who built empires. The warriors, the conquerors, the leaders. Do you think they spent their time scrolling social media, whining about life, waiting for someone to come save them? No. They sharpened their minds like a blade. They trained their bodies like weapons. They dominated because they were disciplined.
And that's what you need to do. Train your mind like a warrior trains for battle. Cut out the weakness. Eliminate distractions. Stop feeding your brain garbage. Stop watching mindless nonsense. Stop wasting time on people who do nothing but bring you down. Your mind is a fortress. Guard it with your life. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't care if you feel tired. I don't care if you're sad. You know what I do when I don't feel like working? I work anyway. You know what I do when life punches me in the face? I get back up and hit harder because I refuse to lose. I refuse to let weakness win. Most of you live like you have infinite time. Let me tell you the truth, you don't. Every second you waste, every moment you spend in self-pity is time you will never get back. And one day you will wake up old, weak, full of regret, realizing that you wasted your entire life waiting for the right moment. Guess what? The right moment is now. Your mind will try to trick you. It will tell you to take it easy. It will tell you that you can start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. Either you take control of your life right now, or you stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, broken. You want to be a king? Start thinking like one. Start acting like one. Start living like one. You must become the man who deserves success before success ever finds you. There is no magic pill, no shortcut, no easy way. There is only discipline, hard work, and an unbreakable mindset. Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to wait? How many more days, weeks, months are you going to waste before you finally wake up and realize that no one is coming to save you? There is no superhero. There is no miracle. There is no lucky break that's going to change your life overnight. The only way you win is if you decide to win. If you make the choice to be relentless, disciplined, and unstoppable. And let me be very clear. This is not about luck. This is not about talent. This is about being the kind of man who refuses to lose. You can take a weak, lazy man, hand him every opportunity in the world, and he will still find a way to fail. Why? Because his mind is weak. Because he doesn't believe in himself. Because he doesn't have the discipline to do what is necessary. On the other hand, take a man with the right mindset, someone who has sharpened his mind into a weapon, and put him in the worst conditions possible. Strip him of everything, throw him into the fire, and guess what? He will rise, he will win, he will dominate. Not because of his circumstances, but because he refuses to be broken by them. You think life is hard? Good. It's supposed to be hard. Life is a test, and most of you are failing because you keep looking for an easy way out. There is no easy way. There is no shortcut. Every single thing you want, success, power, money, respect, must be earned. And that process, it's painful, it's brutal, but that's the price of greatness. I get messages all the time from men crying about how unfair life is. Tate, I'm struggling. Tate, I don't know what to do. Tate, how do I fix my life? You know what my answer is? Work harder. Simple. Stop overcomplicating it. If you're broke, make more money. If you're weak, train harder. If you're lost, get focused. Every problem has the same solution: discipline. I want you to understand something very important. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody cares how hard your life is. Nobody is going to feel sorry for you. The world only respects results. And if you don't have results, then you are irrelevant. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, how much potential you have. If you're not putting in the work, you are nothing. Some of you are stuck in the same place you were 5 years ago. Same job, same paycheck, same problems. Why? Because you refuse to take control. Because every time things get tough, you fold, you make excuses, you procrastinate, and then you wonder why nothing changes. Let me tell you something. Success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Winners act regardless of their emotions. It doesn't matter if they're tired. It doesn't matter if they're stressed. It doesn't matter if life is throwing obstacles in their way. They show up. They put in the work. They get it done. You have no idea how powerful your mind is. You have no idea what you're truly capable of because you've never pushed yourself to the limit. You've never gone all in. You've never put yourself in a situation where success was the only option. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're still average, because you have never demanded greatness from yourself. But I'm telling you now, it's time to change that. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more wishing. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another podcast, another self-help book, another pep talk. You need to make a decision right now. A decision to stop being weak. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to master your mind, master your discipline, and take full control of your destiny. Because let me tell you something. Once you master your mind, you become unstoppable. Once you silence the doubt, the fear, the weakness, and replace it with unshakable confidence and discipline, nothing can break you. No setback, no failure, no challenge. You will keep moving forward. You will find solutions. You will outlast every obstacle in your way. The world belongs to the strong, to the disciplined, to the ones who refuse to be broken. The question is, are you one of them? Because if you're not, then you will stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, forgotten. And one day, when it's too late, you will look back on your life with nothing but regret, knowing that you could have been great, but you were too weak to make it happen. I refuse to live that way. And if you have even a shred of self-respect, you will refuse it too. Now get up. You're still here? Good. That means you're starting to understand. That means deep down, you know the truth. You know that everything I'm saying is real. You know that you've been lying to yourself, wasting time, playing small, making excuses, waiting for something to change instead of being the thing that changes. Let me tell you something. Most people will never get this. They will never break free. They will wake up every day, live the same weak, unfulfilled, pathetic life, and then die without ever realizing they had the power to change it. And you know why? Because they are slaves to their own mind. The average man is a prisoner of his own laziness, a prisoner of his fear, a prisoner of his excuses. He lets his emotions dictate his actions. He lets distractions control his focus. He lets society tell him what he's allowed to do, what he's allowed to think, what he's allowed to believe. And then he wonders why he's miserable. I have one question for you. Are you that man? Are you a slave to your own weakness, or are you the kind of man who refuses to be controlled, who refuses to be ordinary? Because let me tell you something. If you don't take full control over your mind, someone else will. And if you think I'm lying, look around you. The world is full of men who have been brainwashed into thinking that mediocrity is acceptable, that being soft is normal, that failure is just a part of life. No, failure is a choice. And if you keep choosing it, you will keep losing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Success is not about how you feel. It's about what you do. Your emotions are irrelevant. Winners don't care if they're tired. They don't care if they don't feel like working. They don't care if things are hard. They do it anyway. That is why they win. Weak men let their feelings control them. I don't feel like working out today. I don't feel like learning a new skill. I don't feel like grinding. Good. That's why you're a loser. That's why you're broke. That's why your life is a joke. Because instead of acting like a man, you act like a child who needs everything to be easy, who needs life to be comfortable. But guess what? Life is not comfortable. Life is war. And if you don't learn how to fight, if you don't learn how to push through pain, if you don't learn how to control your own mind, you will be crushed. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how smart you are. If you don't have mental toughness, you will never last. Look at the most successful men in history. Were they soft? Were they lazy? Were they sitting around waiting for motivation? No. They were relentless. They were disciplined. They did what needed to be done no matter what. And that is what you need to become. You need to become a machine, a force of nature, a man so locked in, so unshakable, so mentally unbreakable that nothing can stop you. Not pain, not failure, not setbacks, nothing. You need to train your mind the way a warrior trains for battle. That means no more distractions, no more nonsense, no more excuses. That means cutting out weak, negative people. That means stopping the addiction to comfort. That means waking up every single day with a purpose, with a mission, and attacking it with everything you have. Because let me tell you something. Life doesn't reward the weak. It doesn't reward the lazy. It doesn't reward the men who hesitate, who complain, who sit around waiting for something to happen. Life rewards the strong. Life rewards the disciplined. Life rewards the men who show up and do the work. Your mind is the battlefield. That's where success is won or lost. Not in your job, not in the gym, not in the world, right here inside your own head. Before you take a single step, before you lift a single weight, before you even open your mouth, your thoughts determine everything. You think like a loser, you act like a loser, you think like a king, you act like a king. It's that simple. And yet most of you sabotage yourselves before you even start. You wake up and the first thing you do is grab your phone, scroll, filling your head with garbage, negativity, distractions, useless opinions from people who have never done anything with their lives. And you wonder why you have no drive. You wonder why you have no focus. You wonder why you're stuck in the same cycle of failure, because you have allowed your mind to become weak. Your mind is supposed to be a weapon, a finely tuned machine, a fortress that nothing can break, but you've let it turn into a playground for weakness, laziness, and distractions. And if you don't take control, if you don't sharpen your mind and harden your soul, you will never break free from the mediocrity that traps you. You know what I do the moment I wake up? I dominate my thoughts. I control my focus. Before the world has a chance to put nonsense in my head, I program myself for war. Because that's what life is, a constant battle against weakness, against distractions, against the pathetic version of yourself that wants to quit. The problem with most of you is that you let that weak version win every single day. You let your mind tell you, stay in bed a little longer, skip the gym today, take a break, and you listen, you obey. You let your mind dictate your actions instead of commanding it like a master. That is why you fail. Your mind is not your friend, it is a tool that must be trained, disciplined, and controlled. Because if you don't control it, it will control you. And that version of you, the one that's soft, weak, and addicted to comfort, will destroy your future before you even have a chance to build it. Look at the most powerful men in history. Do you think they sat around waiting for the right mood to take action? Do you think they let distractions pull them away from their mission? No. They were focused. They were disciplined. They trained their minds to be unbreakable, and that is why they won. You need to do the same. You need to build mental resilience like a soldier going into battle. Every time a weak thought enters your head, you crush it. Every time you feel like quitting, you push harder. Every time life tests you, you stand up and prove that you are a man who cannot be broken. Because once you control your mind, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Not pain, not fear, not failure. You will become a machine, a force of nature, a man who does not hesitate, does not complain, does not stop until he has conquered everything you set out to achieve. That is what it means to master your mind. That is what separates the winners from the losers. So the question is, are you going to stay weak or are you going to take control? Because if you don't, life will. And trust me, you won't like how that feels. Your mind is the single most powerful asset you own. It is your strongest weapon, your greatest ally, or your worst enemy. And yet most of you treat it like garbage. You let negativity seep into it. You let weak thoughts dictate your actions. You let distractions steal your focus, and then you wonder why you're losing. Let me tell you something. Your life right now is the direct result of the way you think. If your mind is weak, your life will be weak. If your mind is scattered, your life will be chaotic. If your mind is disciplined, your life will be powerful. Everything starts in your head. Every victory, every failure, every breakthrough, every setback, it all begins with the way you think. The problem with most of you is that you have no control over your own mind. You wake up and instantly fall into the same pattern of distraction, doubt, and weakness. The first thing you do, check your phone. Drown yourself in social media. Flood your brain with nonsense that does nothing to help you grow. And you do this every single day. You let the world shape your thoughts instead of shaping them yourself. And that is why you feel lost. That is why you feel powerless. Because you have surrendered control. The men who win, who really win, do not allow their minds to be hijacked. They program themselves for success. From the moment they wake up, their thoughts are locked in. They are focused. They are ruthless in guarding their mental space. No useless content, no distractions, no self-doubt, just a clear, unshakable vision of what they want and the discipline to go out and take it. I get messages all the time. Tate, how do I fix my mindset? Tate, how do I get discipline? Tate, how do I stop being weak? And my answer is always the same. Stop allowing weakness into your mind. Stop feeding your brain with garbage. Stop indulging in negative thoughts. Stop surrounding yourself with people who bring you down. Stop wasting your mental energy on things that don't make you stronger. Your thoughts must be trained. Every time a weak thought enters your mind, crush it. Every time self-doubt tries to creep in, eliminate it. Every time you catch yourself making excuses, shut it down immediately. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it becomes weak and useless. But if you push it, if you discipline it, if you sharpen it, it becomes a force that no failure, no setback, no amount of negativity can break. And let me be clear, this is not something you do once and forget about. This is war. Every single day, your mind will try to pull you back into old habits, old fears, old weaknesses. You have to fight every moment, every second, until controlling your thoughts becomes second nature, until discipline is automatic, until you become the kind of man who does not hesitate, does not complain, does not stop until he gets what he wants. The difference between men who win and men who lose is simple. The winners do not let their emotions dictate their actions. The losers do. The winners do not let distractions pull them away from their mission. The losers do. The winners do not wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the right time. They act. The losers sit around hoping, wishing, dreaming, but never doing. So which one are you? Are you going to keep living like a slave to your own mind, controlled by doubt, by fear, by weakness? Or are you going to take control? Because the moment you do, The moment you stop making excuses, stop allowing distractions, stop letting negativity win, that is the moment your life changes forever. Your mind is the key to everything. Master it or be mastered by it. Choose. Right now, you're sitting there frustrated. You're looking at your life, your situation, and you're asking, why is it happening for me? Why am I still struggling? Where is my success? You work, you grind, you put in the effort, and yet nothing seems to be moving the way you want it to. And because of that, you're doubting everything. You're doubting yourself, doubting your abilities, and worst of all, you're doubting God's plan for you. But let me tell you something that most people will never understand. God knows exactly what he's doing. You don't have what you want right now because you're not ready for it. I know that's hard to hear. Your ego doesn't want to accept it. You want to believe that you're already built for success, that you deserve it right now today, but that's the difference between winners and losers. Winners understand that the process is the test. The struggle isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Think about it. You ever see someone win the lottery and go broke in a year? You ever watch these young guys make quick money in crypto, flex for a few months, and then disappear? You know why that happens? Because they got success before they were ready. They never built the character, the discipline, or the resilience to keep it. Easy come, easy go. And God is never going to put you in a position where your blessings become your curse. That's why you're still struggling. That's why you haven't hit your big break yet, because if he gave it to you now, you'd fumble it. Look at your life. If you suddenly had millions in your account today, would you even know what to do with it? You'd think you would, but you wouldn't. You'd make the wrong moves, trust the wrong people, blow money on nonsense, and within a year, you'd be worse off than before. That's why God is making you wait. That's why he's putting you through trials, because you need to be strong enough to handle what's coming. You ever wonder why great warriors go through the harshest training, why soldiers are put through hell before they're sent into battle? Because without the suffering, they wouldn't be ready. Without the discipline, they'd break under pressure. You're in training right now, and every setback, every challenge, every moment where you feel stuck, it's part of God's way of sharpening you into the man you need to be. But most people, they fail the test. They give up too soon. They start questioning God. They start whining, why me? Instead of embracing the process, they reject it. And that's why they stay stuck. That's why most people never achieve greatness, because they don't have the patience or the faith to trust God's timing. You need to wake up and realize something. If you don't have it yet, it's because you're still being built. And if you quit now, you don't just lose out on the blessing, you lose out on the transformation that comes with it. Because success isn't just about having money, power, or status. It's about becoming the person who can handle those things. The process is brutal. It will break you down. It will strip away your weaknesses. It will force you to face every insecurity, every flaw, every limitation you have. And that's exactly why you need it. Because when you come out on the other side, you won't just have success, you'll be unshakable. But only if you don't give up. See, most people want results now. They want shortcuts. They want to wake up one day and have everything fall into place without the years of work, the discipline, the sacrifice. But that's not how God works. He doesn't hand out blessings to people who aren't ready. He doesn't reward impatience. He rewards those who trust the process, put in the work, and prove they can handle the weight of success. Ask yourself, do you really think you're ready for everything you're asking for? Do you really believe you've done everything necessary to hold on to what you want? Or are you just chasing the fantasy of success without doing the real work required to sustain it? Because here's the truth, the waiting is part of the plan. The delay isn't a denial, it's a setup. God isn't holding you back, he's preparing you. He's testing your patience, your faith, your resilience. He's seeing if you're the kind of person who quits when things get tough, or if you're the kind of person who keeps going even when everything seems stacked against you. And that's the moment where most people fail. They hit a few obstacles and suddenly they think the dream is dead. They convince themselves that success just isn't meant for them, and they stop. They give up right before the breakthrough, right before everything was about to click, right before God was about to open the door. That's the devil playing tricks on you. That's fear creeping in, whispering in your ear, telling you to settle, telling you to give up. And most people, they listen. They let doubt win, but not you, not this time. You're going to trust the process. You're going to stay the course. You're going to have faith that every hardship, every setback, every single painful moment is leading you exactly where you're meant to be. Because if you can't handle the struggle, you don't deserve the success. If you can't embrace the process, you'll never reach the destination. And let me tell you, when you finally get there, you'll understand why the wait was necessary. You'll look back at all the frustration, all the challenges, all the moments where you felt stuck. And you'll realize God knew what he was doing all along. The only question is, are you strong enough to trust him? Because the moment you do, the moment you fully commit, the moment you stop questioning and start embracing the process, everything changes. You ever stop and think, what if everything you're going through right now is exactly what you need? What if the struggle, the delay, the frustration, it's all part of God's plan to make you unstoppable? But instead of trusting him, instead of embracing the challenge, you're sitting there complaining, doubting, asking, why me? Let me tell you something. The moment you start questioning the process, you start losing. You start letting fear creep in. You start thinking that maybe success isn't meant for you, that maybe you're wasting your time. But that's the biggest lie of all. God isn't punishing you, he's training you. He's testing your patience, your resilience, your discipline. Because let me tell you, weak men don't win. Weak men crumble the moment life gets hard. Weak men take shortcuts, look for easy money, try to skip the process, and guess what happens? They fall, they get exposed, they get humbled. You see it all the time. Some guy gets lucky, makes a bit of fast money, and within a year he's broke. He thought he was ready. He thought he had it all figured out, but God showed him real quick, you don't get to keep what you haven't earned. And that's why the process exists. That's why God is making you struggle, because when your time comes, he doesn't want you to just touch success. He wants you to keep it. But most people, they don't have the patience. They want the reward without the work. They want the victory without the fight. But let me tell you something. There's no shortcut to greatness. If you try to force success before it's time, it'll break you. Because success isn't just about making it. It's about being strong enough to sustain it. That's why you're still struggling. That's why things aren't happening as fast as you want. Not because you're being denied, but because you're being prepared. And if you quit now, if you break down and give up just because it's taking longer than you expected, you don't deserve it in the first place. Listen to me. The wait is a blessing. The obstacles are a gift. Because in every moment of struggle, you are being shaped into someone greater. God is watching to see if you're truly ready. Are you still going to put in the work when no one is watching? Are you still going to stay disciplined when nothing seems to be moving? Are you still going to believe in yourself when everything in your life tells you to quit? That's the test. That's what separates the strong from the weak, the ones who trust the process from the ones who fold under pressure. And let me tell you, the moment you decide to stop doubting, to stop resisting, and to start embracing the struggle, everything shifts. Because the struggle is where champions are built. Think about a warrior going into battle. He doesn't just pick up a sword and expect to win. He trains. He sharpens his mind, strengthens his body, learns how to fight. He goes through the pain, the discipline, the exhaustion. He bleeds in training so he doesn't die in battle. That's you right now. This process you're going through, it's your training ground. Every failure, every setback, every time you feel like giving up, it's all preparing you for the moment when God finally says, now you're ready. But if you quit now, if you walk away from the process, guess what? You forfeit the blessing. You abandon the very thing that was meant to build you into the man you need to be. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy who gets to the end of his life, looks back and realizes he gave up too soon. That he let his doubts, his impatience, and his fear rob him of the future God had waiting for him. That's the worst regret of all. Knowing that you had the chance, that the door was right there, but you were too weak to walk through it. But you're not going to let that happen. You're going to wake up tomorrow and trust the process. You're going to stop questioning God's timing and start working like a man who knows that success is inevitable. Because that's what faith is. It's knowing without a doubt that everything you're doing right now is leading you exactly where you need to be. And when you finally get there, when everything clicks, when you look back at every struggle and realize that it all happened for a reason, you'll understand why the wait was necessary. Because success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become along the way. So let me ask you, are you ready to trust God's plan? Or are you going to let doubt rob you of your future? Because the ones who make it, they don't question the process. They embrace it. You ever wonder why God doesn't just hand you success the moment you ask for it? Why he makes you fight for it? Why every step forward feels like you're being tested, pushed, and broken down? Let me tell you why. Because God doesn't want you weak. He doesn't want you soft. He doesn't want you to get to the top only to crumble the moment pressure hits. See, weak men think success is just about having money, fame, power, but strong men, they understand that success is about transformation. It's about becoming the kind of man who can carry the weight of responsibility, leadership, and discipline without folding. And the only way to become that man? The process. The process is what separates the winners from the losers. The process is what weeds out the men who say they want it but aren't willing to bleed for it. Because here's the truth. You can't fake greatness. You either put in the work and become the man who deserves success, or you stay in the same cycle of mediocrity for the rest of your life. And let me tell you something about God. He doesn't make mistakes. If he hasn't given it to you yet, there's a reason. You still have lessons to learn. You still have weaknesses to kill off. You still have discipline to build. But most of you don't want to hear that. You don't want to be told that you're the problem. You'd rather blame bad luck, your circumstances, or some nonsense excuse to make yourself feel better. But guess what? None of that changes reality. Reality is this: if you are not winning, it's because you are not ready to win. And instead of complaining about that, you should be grateful. Because when God makes you wait, when he makes you struggle, it's because he's making you strong enough to never lose again. But most people don't see it that way. They cry about how unfair life is. They say, why is this happening to me? Instead of asking, what is God trying to teach me? And that's the shift in mindset that changes everything. Because the process isn't just about making money. It isn't just about success. It's about earning wisdom. And wisdom only comes from experience, from struggle, from walking through the fire and coming out stronger on the other side. You ever notice that people who got everything handed to them usually end up broken? Athletes who go broke, celebrities who overdose, millionaires who lose it all because they never learned how to handle what they had. You think that's a coincidence? It's not, because they never went through the process. They skipped the struggle. And because they skipped it, they never learned how to hold on to what they had. That's what God is protecting you from. He's making sure that when success comes, it stays. He's making sure that when he finally blesses you, you don't fumble it. And if that means he has to keep you in the struggle a little longer, then so be it. Because God is more interested in your strength than your comfort. And this is where most people fail. This is where most people quit, not because they're incapable, not because they don't have potential, but because they refuse to trust the process. Let me tell you something. Most people lose right before they were about to win. You know how many times I've seen guys quit at the last second? 1 month away from success. 1 year away from their breakthrough. But because it didn't come fast enough, they folded, they lost faith, and they walked away from the very thing God was about to give them. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who lets doubt steal his future. Don't be the guy who lets frustration make him walk away from something that was meant to be his. Because let me tell you something. God doesn't promise an easy road, but he does promise that if you keep going, you will win. The only question is, are you willing to keep going when it feels like nothing is working? Are you willing to stay disciplined when no one is watching? Are you willing to trust that every struggle, every setback, every single painful moment is part of God's way of shaping you into a man who can handle success when it arrives? Because if you refuse to break, if you refuse to let the process scare you away, then you are and that's exactly what God wants you to be. Now, what's it going to be? Are you going to be another guy who quits, who makes excuses, who lets his emotions control him? Or are you going to rise above the doubt, trust the process, and walk into the future that God has already prepared for you? Because the choice is yours. This is where the weak fall, where the strong rise, and where God sees what you're really made of. Right now, in this very moment, you have a decision to make. Are you going to trust God's plan for you? Or are you going to let fear, doubt, and impatience steal your future? Because here's the truth. God doesn't need you to understand the process. He needs you to trust it. You think you're waiting too long? You think the struggle is unfair? You think the pain is unnecessary? God knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what you need to go through to become the person you're meant to be. He knows what lessons you need to learn. He knows what weaknesses need to be burned out of you, and he knows when the exact right moment is to give you what you've been praying for. The only thing stopping you from winning is you, your doubt, your impatience, your inability to see that the delay is a blessing, not a punishment. Every second you spend wondering, why isn't this happening yet, is a second you could be spending becoming the man who is ready for it. Think about this. If success was handed to you right now, would you truly be able to handle it? Could you carry the weight of what comes with it, the responsibility, the discipline, the constant pressure? Most people think they're ready, but they're not. They don't even have control over their own emotions, their own discipline, their own habits. And that's why God makes you wait. That's why he puts you through fire, so that when success comes, you don't fold under it. You ever wonder why God took so long to elevate some of the greatest men in history? Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he was ready to lead. Joseph was thrown into slavery and prison before he became second in command of Egypt. Even David, a king anointed as a boy, had to go through years of struggle before he ever sat on the throne. Why? Because God never puts unprepared men in positions of power. And if you are still in the struggle, if you are still waiting, then God is still preparing you. The only way you lose is if you quit too soon. If you let frustration trick you into thinking that the process isn't working. If you let your emotions make you walk away from something that is already yours, you just haven't grown into it yet. The real test isn't whether or not you can handle success. The real test is whether or not you can handle waiting for it. Are you strong enough to keep working when it looks like nothing is happening? Are you disciplined enough to stay focused when doubt is screaming in your ear? Are you faithful enough to keep moving when you can't see the finish line? Because if you can do that, if you can trust the process, even when it feels like everything is against you, let me say this one last time. God knows best. He is never late. He is never wrong. He sees the full picture when all you see is one piece. And if you can have the strength to trust him, to embrace the struggle, and to refuse to quit, then success isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Are you going to keep doubting, keep resisting, keep letting frustration hold you back? Or are you going to wake up tomorrow and say, God, I trust you. I trust the process, and I'm going to keep going no matter what? Because that's the moment everything changes. That's the moment the struggle stops being your enemy and starts being your greatest advantage. The people who win in life, they don't run from the process, they embrace it. And if you can do the same, if you can stay the course and trust God's timing, then one day, not today, not tomorrow, but one day, you're going to look back at everything you've been through and say, now I understand.